Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Welcome to my live stream. So, first things first, I was on a training yesterday about social media, and the person who was facilitating is like a marketing guru type of person, and they recommended that you give people a heads up of when you're going to go live. So, let me know in the comments if that was helpful. Because if it is, then I can start doing that from now on. So say hello as you are coming in so I can greet you properly. Today we're talking about how to strengthen your credit when going to buy a home so that way you can get pre-qualified. So pre-qualification is the theme for this week. And so today we're talking about how to strengthen your credit profile. Now, I don't know about you, my sister said I've been getting a ridiculous amount of friend requests, and that could be because of the show me and my sister do together, or it could just be completely random, or it could be spam. So I don't know, but if you are experiencing that same thing as well, if you would put it in the comments and let me know if it's me or if it's like something going on with Facebook. I just thought it was really strange that I'm like getting hit with literally 10 to 20. I think I've approved almost 20 friend requests in the last 24 hours, which is unusual. But at any rate, so there's a lot of new people that I recently connected with. So my name is Janae of Janaeum.com. Hello. I go by the Millennial Money Minister. My official title is financial consultant, and I teach people how to better manage their money so they can save more, get out of debt, and build wealth. And this month is National Home Ownership Month, and I launched my course, The Blueprint, and so I'm sharing tips to help you with buying your first home and how to get your finances in order before you do that. So for those of you who have been watching the live streams and you do want to take the next step and enroll, just click the link that is in this video. If you know someone who is looking to buy a home for the first time and they're not sure what to do financially, you can tag them in the comments or share this video with them. And if you shared this out, you never know who you're connected to who wants to buy a home. So it's all about education, because buying a first home can be a pretty nerve-wracking process, especially because you've never been through it. I was just talking to a loan officer this morning, and he was just letting me know that a lot of people buying a home for the first time, they're scared, they're nervous, they're not sure what to do. And so what this course does, it helps take away that anxiety and give you exactly what you need to know, what you need to be focused on. So that way it's a pretty seamless and easy process. So my process to buying a home, it took overall 7 years, but when I actually said, this is the year I'm buying my home, I literally put an offer in, bought, closed, and moved in within 3 months, which is not common. But that's what happens when you are prepared. So today we're talking about how to strengthen your credit profile as a buyer. And so if you have questions, just put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And if you're catching this on the replay, you can also put your questions in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. Now, credit plays a huge role when you go to purchase a home, because in order to get financing, which is money to buy the home, you need to qualify. And so how lenders and banks determine whether you qualify or not is by looking at your credit score and also your credit history. So it's very important. We talked 2 days ago about the minimum credit score needed. Yesterday we talked about what credit score you should have, and now we're talking about how to strengthen your credit profile overall. Now, and I said this yesterday, The credit score that is used to determine whether or not to extend you a loan is the FICO score. And so based on the FICO score, that's what we'll be discussing today. What makes up the FICO score and where you need to really be focused in order to strengthen your credit. So the FICO score is made up of 5 different parts. And so 2 of those parts make up over 50% of your score. It actually makes up 65%. So I actually recommend that people focus on these 2 things because they can start to see results immediately. Why? Because it's a big chunk of what makes up your credit score. And so I'll go through all of them, but I'll specifically focus on the 2 that I'm talking about. So your FICO score is made up of 5 parts. You have number 1, which is payment history. That's 35% of your score. 30% is the amounts that you owe. 15% is the length of credit history, so how much time your account's been open. 10% is credit mix, the different types of credit you have, from credit cards to a car loan to a mortgage loan to a installment loan, which is like student loans, personal loans. And then lastly, 10% is related to new credit. So, new credit accounts and things like that. So that's what makes up your FICO score. So in order to strengthen your credit profile, you want to take the simple approach and focus on what makes up the majority of your score. So what makes the majority of your score is payment history and the amounts owed. Now let's talk about that a little bit. Now payment history is how long your accounts have been open, because the longer period of time that your accounts have been open, that gives lenders and creditors the ability to see how you behave financially over time. So if you have long credit history, several years, and you have paid on time, in full, you've never been delinquent, you've never been late, then that's a good indication that if you could do it for 5 years, then you can probably do it for 10. But if you only have like 2 years worth of credit history, it's fairly easy or fairly early to be able to tell whether you'll be a consistent customer with paying your bills on time. But if you started on a good track and all your payments are current, that gives creditors and lenders some hope that you'll continue that same behavior in the future. But 2 years is not a lot of time to tell, but it is enough time to at least give them somewhat of an idea of how you may handle paying your bills on a regular basis. So with payment history, you want to focus on creating, with the accounts that you currently have, you want to focus on making sure that as long as you have these accounts open, that they're current, and that you are not defaulting, meaning that you are not missing or skipping payments or that you're late, because that will hurt you. A myth that some people don't know is that you should not close your credit accounts. Even if you decide that you don't want to use credit anymore, you may not want that account anymore, you should not close that account. Why? Because that wipes out that history. You can simply just cut up the card or put it in the freezer and pay the account off and be done with it, but leave it open. Why? Because that credit history helps you. That payment history helps you. And so you don't want to close any of your credit accounts. Now, sometimes if you go too long and your account is, yay! Sometimes if your account is, if your account goes too long where you don't make any charges, then the company has the right to close your account automatically. Now that's something different. And that actually happened to me, but it was for a card that I didn't really care about. It was like a store credit card that I got from Loft. I literally used it one time, and I just got it to get the 15 or 20% off and then paid it in full, and that was that. But that can happen too. So the store card, that's something you really don't care about. But if it's a card that you've had for years and years and years and you decide that you're not going to use it, you should not close the account, and you should at least make a small purchase here and there and pay it off in full just so the account stays active, because you don't want the company to close your account and you not be able to get that history back, because once it's gone, it's gone. And especially if you haven't bought a home yet, that can work against you. Now, after you've bought your home and your cars and you don't plan to use credit anymore, who cares? But if you haven't bought your home yet, then you want to have as much history as possible. Now, I'm going to say this, but I'm not going to tell you where to go to get this, because I want you to at least try to do the work on your own instead of trying to skip and get shortcuts. Now, you can buy positive payment history. You can buy an extended amount of payment history and credit history to add to your profile. You can actually buy credit, and a lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that until I went to a workshop earlier this year, I believe. But yeah, you can literally buy credit, and it's literally somebody else's history being attached to your profile to make you look better, and it boosts your score up tremendously. But again, that's a shortcut, and I prefer that you do the work first. But if you want to know, those are called trade lines, and so you can purchase those. The good ones are really, really expensive. They're like in the thousands, so be careful with that, but that is a option that's out there. So we talked about payment history, and then 30% is the amounts that you owe. And that's why I encourage people in my course and just in general to try to pay off all of your debt or most of your debt before you buy a home. Not only because it helps your credit, but it helps you to free up money that you can use later to pay down your home faster and to invest your money to build wealth. So 30% of your credit score is the amounts owed. So as you pay down those balances, that increases your score. And you want to strive to be under a utilization rate of 30%. Meaning you're not using more than 30% of your total credit limit. So if you have a credit card, and this is the combined amount of credit that you're using based on your credit limits. So say for instance you have 3 credit cards and they're each $1,000 a piece. So you have a total credit limit on your profile of $3,000. So 30% of that is 300 times 3 is 900. So at any given time, you should not charge more than $900 at one time, because that would put you over that 30% range, which can hurt your credit score. So I definitely recommend that you pay down your debts as much as possible. If you have less than $30,000 in debt, you can pretty much knock that out in a year and a half if you are really disciplined and consistent. And if you don't know how to do that, you can reach out to me. I'd be happy to help. But you can pretty much pay off $30,000 in debt in a year and a half. So credit utilization, when you look at the total amount of credit available that you have, or your total credit limit for each of your credit accounts, you want to strive to not charge more than 30%. And if you can stay like under 10%, you're doing a really, really good job. So yeah, that's that. Are there any questions? If so, you can put them in the comments. Even if you're catching this on the replay, I will go back and actually I get alerts if there is a comment posted, so I can respond to make sure you get the answers that you need. And if you want to learn more about how to establish, build, or maintain credit for the purpose of buying a home, you can learn more about that in my course, The Blueprint. And so to get started and enroll, you can just click on the link that is included in this video. So if there are no questions, thank you all for tuning in. Hi! Thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch you next time. Take care.